Hi, kindergarten students and families. Mrs. Wallstrand here. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to go over the packets that were sent out via the resource materials that you picked up at Lake Ayres. You will find 4 weeks worth of purple packets that look like this. These are supplemental to your bingo boards. So in addition to doing your bingo boards, we put together this packet. On the front, it will tell you the date. This is actually the second one. This is April 6th through the 10th. There is one before this. And this is recommended for that specific week to pair with your learning boards. There is a recommended daily checklist. We understand that everybody's family situation is going to be a little bit different, and you might not be able to do that entire checklist every single day, and that's fine. Grace is given, and do whatever your family can make happen. The recommended daily checklist is to read for 20 minutes. This can be reading with a sibling or reading by themselves. It could be listening to reading on an online resource that we've shared. It could be reading with a parent, any type of reading for 20 minutes. Also, we ask that you try and do 2 packet pages every day. But again, decide what pace is going to be best for you. And then doing 1 or more of the learning board, also called the bingo board activities. And Ms. Kazak will also do a video explaining the learning board a little bit more in depth. So in this example of the learning packet, it has some handwriting practice. We are looking for proper formation. So making sure that we're starting at the top and the letters look as close to the examples as possible. We're really focusing on having really beautiful penmanship before they go into first grade. Let's see, the next page. I know all of our classes are doing this a little bit differently, but for these learning packets, typically we've, at least in my class, put these into our notebooks. But since we don't have our notebooks at home for distance learning, the students are to look at this picture. And for this particular one, it is for the letter K, or the K sound. And so they're supposed to be identifying the pictures that start with the K sound. So for example, kite, on this little label line, they should be trying to write the word kite phonetically. And doing the same for the rest of them. If they find another picture that doesn't have a label line, they could certainly create their own, or they could go around the house and look for other words that start with the K sound. Also, on the bottom of a lot of these, there are teacher directions, or parents, you could use these directions as well if you're unsure what to do. You will also find in all of our learning packets some pages from our Heartward journals. The actual journals that the students have been working in all year are still at school. So we just pulled a couple pages because we weren't quite sure how long this was going to go for. So they are supposed to trace the word at top. And then each one of these boxes is for writing in a letter of the word. So T is a tall letter. So they would do their big line down and then cross in the middle. And then H would be big line down and then the little curve, and so on for each of the letters. And then below, they're supposed to write a sentence including the heart word. So for the word this, they could write, "This is my dog." And they'd start right here and try and phonetically spell it as best as possible. Some things that the teachers look for are starting with an uppercase letter, using finger spaces between their words, and then ending with a punctuation. And then for our picture, we're looking for a detailed picture that matches the sentence. And in my class, we say 5 colors, and I think the other teachers have said something similar. So just making sure it's quality work with the Heartward Journal pages. Some weeks we'll have 3 Heartward Journal pages. Some weeks we'll just have 2. This particular week we have 3. This page is just a CVC, or consonant, vowel, consonant worksheet. There is a word bank on the top, so we've taught them how to read the word by sounding it out and then finding the picture to match and then writing it on the letter lines below the picture. and then crossing it out when they're finished. And the back side is a daily math sheet. So this is something that my class has started doing, and I think maybe some of the other classes have experimented with it a little bit. But the first thing they need to do is practice skip counting to 100 by tens, and then there's a little box they can check off if they finished it. Counting backwards from 20 to 0 and check it off when they're done. Below that, just practicing writing numbers. So there'll always be a starting number and they should write the next 10 numbers. So for this particular one, there's 21. They would write 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So they'll be writing a chunk of 10 numbers. Ordering the numbers on the top, it says order the numbers 16, 12, and 10. So they're just supposed to put them in these boxes in numerical order. And then there's an addition problem and a subtraction problem. Pretty self-explanatory there. There is some space underneath if they need to be doing some math drawings or showing their work. And then on the bottom, representing the number 12 using a math drawing. This could be just drawing 12 circles. One way that we've done it in class is by using 5 groups. On the other side, it says write an equation. So writing an equation that would equal 12. For example, 12 plus 0, or maybe it's 10 plus 2, or 6 plus 6. Or if they're more advanced, they could even try subtraction, maybe 13 take away 1. Any example that they can brainstorm that would show or represent the number 12. And then on the bottom, it's circle the number that is more. So if you look at the first row, 23 and 19, whatever number is more or greater, they would circle it. And then the same for the next row and the final third row. And then on the other side, you're doing the same thing, only the number that's fewer. This is something we created because it hits a lot of our math kindergarten standards that the kids would be assessed on at the end of the quarter. So this is just daily practice. You could also do this every day on your own by just putting in other numbers and trying to challenge your child in any whatever way is best fitting for them. And also there'll be just like a math work page. Most of the kids will know what to do. They should be pretty simple or something that they've done before. That's just extended practice. This particular one is extending patterns. And at the bottom, you'll see ABC. That's asking them to do an ABC pattern. And then ABB, asking them to do an ABB pattern. They can use pictures or colors, whatever they decide. And on the back, one of our standards is living and non-living, and there'll be another video mini lesson about living and non-living and how we can tell the difference. And there'll just be drawing 2 things that are living and 2 things that are non-living. They can use any sort of crayons, markers, pencil, whatever you guys have at home. So that's just a brief rundown of one of our packets. Again, we'll be answering more questions in the future. Don't forget to reach out to the teachers during their office hours if you have any questions that you need answered right away. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for listening.